Hello, my dear friends, and today in our first lecture we will find out how to cooperate with your team. So let's get started and look at the plan of our lesson. Firstly, we will discuss cooperation with the team. I will give you some relevant vocabulary. Then we start revising a grammar. Today it will be simple tenses. And I would like to give you some piece of grammar material like word formation. Today it will be prefixation. And during our course, I will give you once in 2-3 lectures different interesting grammar topics. And in the end, we're gonna practice our pronunciation. Let's start with our topic. I'll give you now some vocabulary with examples. The first other word that you can use while cooperating and working with your teammates is word actually cooperate. It means to act or work together for a particular purpose or to be helpful by doing what someone asks you to do. And in our speech, it can sound like in every society people cooperate with each other. The second phrase will be call it a day, which means stop something. These words came from the old expression that means that worker left before the shift was over. And it was like call it after a half day or call it a day. And in a sentence, it would sound like your consumers fix your better product and call it at a day. The next one will be to deal with someone. To deal with someone means to talk with someone or to meet someone, especially as a part of your job. And in an example, we will use it as they don't want to deal with someone else except you. The next one will be to innovate. Innovate means to introduce changes or new ideas. We want to build an organization that can innovate time. In every team, of course, we have its own leader. So we have the next word is leadership. Leadership is a position or fact of being a leader. In a sentence, at a time like that, you really need to be a good leadership skills. The next one, relationships. Relationships is the way in which two or more co-workers behave towards each other. And some of you may have a healthy relationships with deadlines. To get down to business. To get down to business, it means to stop talking and finally to start getting serious about something. Once you've created your account, it is time to get down to business. So it means it is time to start doing. Next one is to deal with something. To deal with something, it means to take in action in order to achieve something or in order to solve a problem. Like in a question, how do you deal with something like the environment? And environment, in this case, we are not talking about nature. Environment means the atmosphere in your team. The next, it will be a phrasal verb like get on. Get on in this case means to have a good relationship, to manage or to deal with a situation, especially if you want to do it successfully. Let's just get on the phones and use them to be positive, empower and protect each other. Next phrase, it sounds like get the ball rolling, which means to start something. And it will sound in example like let's get the ball rolling on this project, which means that we are finally should start doing and developing our project. The next interesting phrase is to think outside the box, which actually means that you should think in an inconvenient, creative way and to create new progressive ideas. I really think we need to think outside the box for this campaign. Next one will be support, and it's not gonna be a personal support. It's like to agree and to give encourage to someone or something because you want this person or this product to be successful. All they need is some help and assistance, just a little support. Also, it can be a technical support. You can use this word in different ways. And the last for today will be trust. Trust means to believe in someone is good and honest and will not harm you, or something that are safe and reliable if we are talking about programs or developing or creating of it. So you are saying that you can trust yourself to handle life's challenges. Great, we are. So during your home task, you will need to learn all these phrases. Now we're gonna start the second block of our lesson. It's a grammar part with simple tenses. Let's take a look. At our first time, it's present simple. Present simple has identifiers or markers in a sentence, and they sound like always, every, sometimes, often, or quite rarely. We use present simple when we want to talk about regular or constant action. Let's take a look on its structure. So, every time the first place should be taken by subject in a sentence. Then we are adding verb. To verb we should add ending s in the case if the subject is he, she, or it. If we want to make a negative form, then, one more time, on the first place we put subject, then we add modal verb like do or does, then part not, and the last place will be taken by verb. If we are trying to make question, then we should put our modal verb on the first place, like do, does, then subject, and in the end will be verb. Let's take a look at the use of present simple. First situation when we can use it is the facts and situation in the present, like our secretary works very hard, which means that she is doing it all the time, and I don't agree with you. The second situation when we can use present simple, it's just any action in a present. Like Mr. Brown never attends a meeting, he always sends me. The third will be actions set by a timetable or schedule, which means that actions are already planned and you know when it will happen because you know the time. Like the train leaves at 6:24. Or the conference starts at 9:30. The next tense that we can use with simple will be past simple. Past simple also have its own markers, like yesterday, before some day, in the Middle Ages, or you can just name a date or a year when it happened. And it also used for regular or constant actions. So let's take a look onto our structures. If you want to build a sentence, on the first place you should put subject. Then you add verb and verb with ending ed, or you use second form of it if it actually has it. Like go, went, gone, in a past simple we use went. If we are trying to make negative form, the first place will be also taken by subject, then we add modal verbs like did, then, part not, and a verb without any ending. If we are trying to make a question, then our modal verb will be on the first place, like did, then subject and verb. Let's take a look into our examples. Past simple expresses the facts or given situation in the past. Like our secretary worked very hard, or I didn't agree with you. Like analogy to our previous time. The second, it's action in the past, any action in the past. Mr. Brown never attended any meeting, he always sent me. Sent, the second form of a verb. The third way to use past simple will be when action taken place one after another, one by one. Like Mr. Sanders came into the office, checked his mailbox and went straight to the briefing. So all this action happened one by one. Firstly came, then checked, and then went. Next will be, what a horrible day. First my computer crashed, then our best customer canceled their order. On the way home, my car broke down. In the first example, everything happened one by one, actually during 1 minute. But in a second case, it happened during day. And is there any difference? No, there is no any difference. You can just use past simple in all of this situation. The third way to use past simple, it's when action taking place in the middle of another action. It means that one action can be suddenly wrapped by another one in the past. Like, I was sitting in a meeting when my mobile suddenly rang. Let's take a look onto details. So, the long progressive action, I was sitting. That's why we are using continuous time. But that short one, that happened only in a moment, will be with a past simple. One more example of it, when I came in, John was playing solitaire. It means that he was playing for a long time, that's why we're using continuous. And I just came in, it happened in one moment, then we use past simple. The next time we're gonna discuss today, it's future simple. It has its own markers like tomorrow, soon, in a week. Also, it can be next, but you can't use next alone. You should say next when, next week, month, year, like it. And also future simple, as our previous tenses, uses for regular or constant action. Let's take a look into our structure. The first place will be taken by subject. Then we use our modal verb. It can be will or shall. Shall we use when we are talking about I or we. Will we use when the action is making by he, she, you, or they. But it's very old-fashioned variant. Now you can use will for everyone. But if we use in a sentence will and shall like modal verbs, then there is a little bit of difference between them. Like will, it is said to show your willingness, desire to do something, and shall you say like obligation. So it must be done immediately. But let's continue with our structure. First place subject, then will, shall, and the third place is taken by verb. If we are trying to make a negative form, almost the same. First place subject, then modal verb will or shall, part not, and verb. When we are doing question, we just should put our modal verb on the first place, like will, shall, then subject and verb. Let's take a look on examples. We use future simple when our decision was taken on the spot, which means that you was just sitting, doing nothing, and in one moment you decide to do something. Like, wait, I will help you, or I will get myself a cup of tea. So you made this decision only right now on the spot, spontaneous decision. The second will be assumption with regard to a future. When you are thinking or telling about something that might be happen in the future, might be happen, it means that there is no guarantees that it will actually happen. Like they will probably deliver the goods tomorrow. Like maybe or not. Things will hopefully be better next year. And the last time when we can use future simple with a conditional sentence of the first type. Let's take a look. If you don't do this, we will take legal steps. First part of our sentence has condition that expressed by the part if, and the second one is used with will because we will see the result in the future. Let's read one more example for you. If we receive your order before noon and if we have it in a stock, we will ship in the same day, which means the result will be in the future. We will ship only if there is some condition right now. Right now means in a present simple. And as I promised to you, we will also discuss today word formation. For today's lesson, I decide to take a prefixation, like a formation of a words by meaning of adding a prefix to the stamp. We use prefixes to extend or to detail our word meaning, but not in every case, because sometimes when you add prefix, you create antonyms. Like take a look, regular, irregular, disorder, order, prehistoric and historic. And now we're gonna read the normal typical variant of prefixation. And now let's take a look onto our basic prefixation. The first one will be dis, an and in. You use these prefixes when you want to make a negative form, like disappointment, unhappy, inexpensive. Second, it's to re, when you want to do something again. Remake, rewrite, rename. Under, we use if you want to show that you haven't finished something, like undercooked meal or undersell or underdeveloped project. Over, we use to show the exaggeration, like overproduce or overcook. The next is co, which means that you are doing something together with someone, like co-founder or co-workers. Ex, it means former, like ex-boss or ex-boyfriend. Also, miss, you use when you are trying to show that something was done wrong, like mishear, misinform, or mislead information. Pre, we use to show that something happened earlier, like prehistoric or pre-war period. Post, we use to show that something happened after some action, like post-war or post-revolutionary. And one more time, we can use co. In the first situation, we use it to show that something was done together. In the second case, it's mean cooperation, like co-author or coexistence. Great, we are. Now we're gonna practice a little bit of our pronunciation, and we will start with the syllables. I will read and you will continue after me. As you can see on the screen, we have different words, and under them there is such points. A big point show which syllable should be stressed, like baby, balloon, iron, remark, doctor, early, decision, architect, messenger, election, indicate, contradict, uniform, transmission, reference, observation, evaluate, portfolio, significant, democratic, regulation. One more time, let's try. Baby, balloon, iron, remark, doctor, early, decision, architect, messenger, election, indicate, contradict, uniform, transmission, reference, observation, evaluate, portfolio, significant, democratic, regulation. Great, we are. And now let's try to practice our tongue skills in sentences. I will read one time, you repeat after me, and then on the second time we will try to make it quicker. Like, Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear, Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? One more time. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear, Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair, Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? Second one will be to develop our skills to say right the sound like th and s. She sells seashells on the seashore. The shells she sells are surely seashells. One more time. She sells seashells on the seashore. The shells she sells are surely seashells. Great, we are. And the last but not the least will be, I have got a date at 7:45. I'll see you at the gate, so don't be late. And quicker, I have got a date at 7:45. I'll see you at the gate, so don't be late. And the last one for you and the longest. And the second time quicker. How much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He could chuck he would as much as he could and chuck as much wood as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Great, we are. Now I can give you your first home task. And it will be to learn all the words and phrases that we discussed today. And the second, you should make 5 sentences for each of the tenses that was revised today. It was, one more time, present simple, past simple, and future simple. For today, we've finished. Thank you for your attention and bye-bye.